All right, buckle up everyone, because today we're diving headfirst into a topic that's got the automotive world buzzing.
Oh, yeah.
The all-new, all-electric Mercedes-Benz G-Class.
The G-Wagon goes electric.
Precisely. We've got a mountain of articles and press releases to unpack here.
Let's do it.
So let's get right into it and see if this electrifying beast lives up to all the hype.
You know what strikes me about this whole thing?
What's that?
Mercedes didn't just throw some batteries into an old G-Class and call it a day.
Yeah.
They went all in and really reimagined the G-Wagon for this whole electric age.
And the specs are seriously impressive.
They are.
But I gotta ask right off the bat.
Hit me.
Is this the genuine off-roader or just some wimpy attempt at greenwash?
Oh, no. This is the real deal. The electric G-Class, they're officially calling it the G580 with EQ technology.
Okay.
It's built on the same super rugged ladder frame as its gas-guzzling siblings.
So it's got that same off-road DNA.
Absolutely. Just a different fuel source.
That's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it has to have that classic G-Class look and feel.
Oh, yeah.
But what about the power? Can it actually hold its own out on the trails?
Oh, it can definitely hold its own. We're talking 4 electric motors.
Right.
One at each wheel, pumping out a combined 432 kilowatts of power. It's definitely got some serious get up and go.
All right, let's talk range for a second. You don't want to get stranded halfway up a mountain, right?
Right.
What kind of distances are we talking about with this thing?
Mercedes has you covered. They've packed in a massive 116 kilowatt battery, which is good for a range of up to 473 kilometers.
473 kilometers.
And that's based on the WLTP cycle, which is a standardized test to measure how far an electric car can go on a single charge.
So in terms of like the off-road routes that we love talking about,
Yeah,
that's enough to tackle most of those trails without breaking a sweat.
I'd say so.
You might even be able to explore some new trails further out. But I have to ask, how does the electric version actually stack up against the gas-powered G-Class when it comes to off-road performance?
It's not just about stacking up, it's about exceeding expectations. Think about how much you love taking your G-Class off the beaten path.
I do?
Well, this electric version doesn't just match the original, it actually surpasses it in key areas,
Like what?
like fording depth and gradability.
Okay, now you got my attention. Give me the details. What makes it so much better off-road?
Well, for starters, we're talking 100% gradability, meaning it can climb incredibly steep hills, and it can ford water up to 850 millimeters deep.
850 millimeters.
That's 150 millimeters deeper than the gas versions. And the approach, departure, and breakover angles are all designed to tackle extreme terrain.
So it can handle pretty much anything you throw at it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you said it surpasses the gas-powered G-Class.
Yes.
What else makes it so special?
Those 4 electric motors, one at each wheel, open up some really unique off-road features. Just imagine being able to turn the G-Class almost on the spot.
Like a tank?
Exactly, like a tank. That's exactly what the G-turn function enables.
Wait, it can turn on a dime?
It can. That's the beauty of those electric motors and that precise torque vectoring.
Wow, this is sounding more and more like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
What other tricks does this electric G-Wagon have up its sleeve?
There's also the G-steering function, which reduces the turning circle off-road.
So it's even more maneuverable.
Yep. And then there's the intelligent off-road crawl function, which is essentially cruise control for off-roading.
Okay.
It maintains a steady, controlled speed, so you can focus on picking your line through challenging terrain.
I'm really starting to see why you're so excited about this. It's clear Mercedes put a lot of thought into the off-road performance.
They did.
But let's be honest. Off-road enthusiasts can be a tough crowd to please. They love their rugged utilitarian vehicles. Does this electric G-Class still have that same appeal?
Oh, absolutely. The G-Class is as much about luxury as it is about off-road prowess, and the electric version definitely doesn't disappoint in that department.
So we're talking all the bells and whistles you'd expect in a high-end Mercedes.
You got it. The interior is classic G-Class luxury. We're talking standard features like a Napa leather steering wheel, ambient lighting, the latest MBUX infotainment system. You can even opt for features like a Burmester 3D surround sound system.
That's a great way to enhance the off-road experience.
Right?
But what about tech? Are there any cool gadgets to help with the off-roading itself?
Mercedes has really thought outside the box here. There's a feature called transparent bonnet.
Transparent bonnet.
Yeah. It uses cameras to give you a virtual view of the terrain beneath the hood.
So you can see what's under the hood.
Essentially, it's incredibly useful when you're navigating tricky obstacles.
It's like having X-ray vision for off-roading. That's brilliant.
It is.
What else is there?
There's also a redesigned off-road cockpit that puts all the essential off-road data right at your fingertips.
Okay.
Like incline, tilt, angle, compass, direction, all that good stuff.
So you've got all the info you need to make the right decisions when you're off the beaten path.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've covered power range, off-road capability, luxury, and tech. But what about the design? Does it still scream G-Wagon, or is it something completely different?
It's definitely still recognizable as a G-Class with that iconic boxy silhouette and rugged stance. But Mercedes has made some subtle design tweaks to set the electric version apart.
Like what? Give me the visual cues.
Well, the most obvious difference is the lack of a traditional grille. Since there's no combustion engine to cool,
Right.
instead you have a smooth, closed-off front end. The headlights are also unique with a more modern angular design.
So it's got that futuristic vibe, but still retains the classic G-Wagon DNA.
Yeah.
I like it. But there's one thing we haven't talked about yet.
What's that?
What does this electric G-Class sound like? Is it just silent?
Don't worry, Mercedes hasn't completely silenced the beast. They've developed something called the GROR sound experience to give the electric G-Class its own distinct sound.
Wait, so they've engineered fake engine noise for an electric car?
Not exactly. It's more like a curated soundscape that evokes the spirit of the G-Class.
So what does an electric G-Wagon actually sound like?
I guess we'll each have to imagine it for ourselves for now.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that sound, or lack thereof, is going to be a big talking point for those die-hard G-Class fans.
Speaking of those fans, do you think this will be the vehicle that finally convinces them to go electric? It's a group that's notoriously resistant to change.
That's a great question. Honestly, only time will tell. But if any vehicle can bridge the gap between the old guard and the electric future, I think this is it. The electric G-Class proves that you don't have to sacrifice capability or character to embrace sustainable technology.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground here with this impressive electric G-Class.
We have.
Now let's get under the hood, so to speak, and delve into some of the technical marvels that make this thing tick.
Let's do it. Let's break down that impressive range a bit more.
Yeah, let's talk batteries.
All right, so we're looking at a 116 kilowatt lithium-ion battery pack.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't electrical engineers, can you break down, where is this massive battery even housed?
Well, they've integrated it into the G-Class's ladder frame, which actually does a couple of things. It contributes to a lower center of gravity for better handling, but it also, adds to the rigidity of the vehicle.
And is it safe tucked away in there?
Yeah, safety is a top priority with this. The battery is encased in a torsion-resistant casing, which shields it from water and dirt intrusion.
So those muddy trails and water crossings you love.
You're good to go.
No problem for this battery.
Not at all.
But a big battery usually means long charging times, right?
That's a common concern with EVs, but Mercedes has equipped the electric G-Class for both AC and DC charging.
Okay.
So at home or work, you can use an 11 kilowatt AC charger. But when you're on the go, the G580 supports DC fast charging up to 200 kilowatts.
Okay, so let's talk real world terms here. How long does it take to charge this thing up using one of those DC fast chargers?
Picture this. You pull up to a charging station, your battery's at 10%. In about 32 minutes, you can get that battery all the way up to 80%.
32 minutes. Not bad at all.
Nope.
A quick pit stop and you're back on the trails.
Exactly.
But what about when you're far from any charging station? Deep in the wilderness?
Right.
Are there any tricks to conserve energy in those situations?
Absolutely. The electric G-Class comes with a feature called recuperation, which recovers energy during braking and coasting.
So it's like getting a little energy boost every time you brake.
You got it. And you can even adjust the level of recuperation using the steering wheel shift paddles.
Oh, that's cool.
So you have even more control over how much energy you want to recover.
I like that level of control.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about those legendary off-road capabilities.
Okay.
We touched on some of the unique features earlier, but I'm curious to know how they actually work.
Sure.
For example, you mentioned G-turn, which allows the G-Class to make those incredibly tight turns.
Right.
Can you walk me through that?
Yeah. So remember those 4 electric motors, one at each wheel?
Yeah.
That setup not only provides impressive power and torque, but it also allows for unparalleled control off-road. With G-turn, the front wheels can be turning in one direction while the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction, allowing the vehicle to essentially pivot on the spot.
It's like having a tank's turning radius in a luxury SUV.
Exactly.
I bet that comes in handy on tight trails.
Oh, absolutely. Then there's G-steering, which further reduces the turning circle by adjusting the steering ratio.
Okay.
And of course, we can't forget about the intelligent off-road crawl function, which is like cruise control for off-roading.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Right. It just takes care of everything for you.
All these features sound incredible.
Yeah.
But I have to ask about safety. Does the electric version compromise on the ruggedness and durability that the G-Class is known for?
No, not at all. In fact, Mercedes has gone above and beyond to make sure this electric G-Class is just as safe.
Okay.
Remember that torsion-resistant battery casing?
Yep.
That's not just there to protect against water and dirt. It also plays a crucial role in safeguarding the battery in the event of an impact.
So it's like a built-in safety cage for the battery.
Exactly. What about the rest of the vehicle?
What about the rest of the vehicle?
Yeah, the ladder frame has been modified and reinforced specifically for the electric model.
Okay.
And it still features that robust combination of double wishbone independent front suspension and a newly developed rigid rear axle.
Okay.
Plus, Mercedes has developed a special skid plate that provides exceptional protection for the underbody.
Okay, you convinced me this thing is built like a tank.
It is.
But all this tech and off-road capability has got to come at a cost, right? What's the damage for someone looking to get behind the wheel of this electric beast?
Well, the electric G-Class definitely isn't cheap. The starting price for the base model is €142,621.50.
€142,621.50.
Okay, but there's also a special edition model available at launch called the Edition 1.
Ooh, a special edition.
Right.
What makes it so special? And how much more special is the price tag?
The Edition 1 starts at €192,524.15.
Wow.
Yeah, it comes with a more extensive list of standard equipment,
Like what?
including sporty styling touches with the AMG line and the Night package.
Okay.
And it features unique design elements like special paint finishes and interior trim options.
It's a significant premium over the base model.
Right.
But it sounds like you're getting quite a lot for your money.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm guessing it's probably still cheaper than a comparable gas-powered G-Class,
Right.
considering those ever-increasing fuel prices.
That's a good point. And let's not forget about the long-term cost savings of driving an electric vehicle.
Yeah, no more trips to the gas station.
Exactly. And significantly lower maintenance costs.
It's important to consider the bigger picture.
It is.
Okay, before we move on to that GRR sound experience, any final thoughts on the technical side of this electrifying off-roader?
I think the electric G-Class is a true testament to what's possible when you combine heritage with innovation.